This time on Irate Garage, it's that time of year again, changing the oil on my 7.3 Power Stroke, but this time is a little bit different. We're going to change all the oil. That's right, today we are discussing the top end oil change on these and whether or not it's even worth doing or beneficial. Let's get into it. So the first video I filmed for YouTube was changing the oil on this truck. So I'm not going to get too into the weeds on it, but we'll just hit some highlights here. Motorcraft filter, because I always run a Motorcraft filter in my Power Strokes. It's very windy today. Stop it. I said... Sorry about that. Stiction eliminator. This truck isn't quite starting as sharply as I would like, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I need to run some of that in it. Last time I did a buzz test on it, it seemed a little on the quiet side also. And we're putting some Rotella T6 in it. While it sounds like the world is falling down around me. I think for a lot of things it probably doesn't really matter, but this is a big filter and it takes a long time for it to fill up. I don't concern myself necessarily with filling this thing all the way, but at least get a good start. Lube up that O-ring. And I need to get gloves. There we go. I just want to make sure that turns first. There we go. Of course, it's a good time to look around and see how everything under your truck is doing. There we go. So, like I said, I'm going to run some Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator in this bad boy. Oil's got a couple quarts in it yet. I'm going to pour almost all of this in there. Got about a half quart left in this. I'm going to set that aside for when things get really controversial. Before I put this in, I'm going to go ahead and shake it up a little bit. This is probably unnecessary, but that's okay. It makes me feel better. It's not a bad idea to mix up your oil anyway, especially if you're not going to put the whole jug in, because a lot of times the additives in the oil will separate. And I am going for the full treatment of the Hot Shots. Because I've never ran it in this truck before, so that's 1 gallon in the truck. I go ahead and check now to make sure there's no oil dripping into the pan, because that'd be unfortunate. And then I just run 540 in this thing all year round. Now a lot of guys will be like, oh no, you gotta run 50 and 40 if you're gonna be pulling heavy with your truck in the summer. It's Minnesota, it gets cold. I ain't bothering. This truck doesn't pull that heavy anymore anyway. So I'm gonna save a little bit here. Let's check on that oil. It is all right at full, so we're gonna call that good. And now for the start of the show. Okay, so we're after that plug right there. I have a 3/16 Allen on this. Should be noted, everything up here will go right to the injectors unfiltered. So you want to make sure that's clean. That'll only go in so far, so I just shove it in there and suck the oil out. This thing holds, this syringe is about a half quart, give or take. We're sucking air, so it means that's what we got in there. You can look at that oil and see that it is not overly healthy looking. And that's my comment to people who say this doesn't really do anything, is that well, the oil that I suck out of there usually looks pretty bad. There we got some fresh oil. Go right back in the hole. Keep in mind you want to make sure this stuff is clean because this is going into the truck effectively unfiltered. Throw the plug back in. You do not want to forget to put this plug in. That'll make a big mess in a big hurry. Doesn't have to be crazy tight. And now we're going to go ahead and do the first start after the oil change. Keeping an eye on anything that may be going wrong. Open up the door and let some air in here. We're going to go ahead and do our oil check now. Right in the middle of the add range. We're going to do this again. And how this oil will look will dictate what we're going to do next. Again, we're just going to look at that oil that's in there. Now the oil in there seems to look just fine. That's good. It is a little dirty yet. No light passes through it. Like none. But there is hot shots in the oil. The hot shots has a smell that's very pronounced. We're going to go ahead and call that okay. Usually I just do enough to get about a quart out of the thing. So what we're going to do now is suck up some hot shots. This shit's expensive, so I'm going to go like that with what's left in that bottle. Now, hot shots doesn't tell you to do this. Nobody's going to tell you to do this. I'm not telling you to do this, but I've done it in the past before, and it actually helped out quite a bit, pouring the hot shots right in to the H-pop. As soon as you start the truck, this will begin to mix with oil. But if you think you got a problem, sometimes, if I think I got a truck that's a problem, then I will, sling a bunch all over the engine bay. I will do that just to see. So I'm going to call that good. Works better on a hot engine. But you can almost hear it work its way through the injectors. The sound just changed. I don't know if the mic picked it up. The easy way. I bet I did that last time too. And I'll take the top of the box here to write down the mileage to the date and what I did to the truck. Just kind of helps keep track of it. Just for me, because I can't remember. All right, well now we're gonna take the truck for a little spin. Just see how that works. The one thing to note, people talk about how the oil in these trucks gets dirty right away. That oil right there is actually pretty clean. And smells like hot shots. And then after you run it, it's a good idea to check, make sure that's not leaking, that plug on the top there. So the question becomes then, is it worth actually going through the effort of changing the top end oil? Well, there's a couple of schools of thought. One is, yes, absolutely you have to do it. Otherwise you're not changing all your oil. And the other school of thought is it's a complete waste of time and anybody who does it is a fool. I tend to think that the answer, much with many things in life, is somewhere in the middle. If I get a truck for the first time and I'm I have questions as to whether or not the oil's been changed on a regular basis, I'll go ahead and do it. If I'm reviving a truck that hasn't ran in a long time, I will probably go ahead and just, if there's oil still in the reservoir from it sitting, I will go ahead and put fresh oil in there. It can only help. If I have a truck that I know for a fact the oil change interval has gone too far, which was the case here today with this one, because I'll have to admit that I went farther than I want to on the oil change, yeah, it's probably a good idea. Is it an absolute must? No. Is it unnecessary? Possible. But on occasion I do it. And if you want to do it, by all means knock yourself out. Just be careful you don't get any crud in there, because that will screw up your injectors really fast. Anyway guys, there you go. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. If you look right here, I'll put another video probably on something on this truck or another 7.3 Power Stroke. Thanks for watching. Be safe. I'll catch you in the next one.